What is the role of religion in our ever-changing world? From the News Channel 5 network, this is Issues of Faith.
Hello everyone, welcome to Issues of Faith. I am Ben Hall. Today we are happy to have with us New York Times best-selling author Mandy Hale. She is known as the Single Woman, and she has a huge following on social media. Mandy, thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
I want to kind of talk to you about young people today,
Sure.
if that's all right.
Yeah.
We hear young people are less likely to go to church, less interested in the institution of marriage. You blog on all of these sorts of topics. You've written books about it. What is your sense of what you're seeing as far as, let's start with marriage, the institution of marriage. Are they as interested in getting married as they used to be, or what do you think?
I feel like people are. I really do, from what I can tell. I do think it's more complicated in this day and age. I think, ironically, the more communication tools we're given that are supposed to be connecting us, whether it's online dating or texting or social media or whatever, I feel like the more communication between men and women is breaking down. I know for me, it's very intimidating. Where do you go to meet someone if you don't want to go out to the bars and clubs? Where, and it can be hard to connect with other singles in church too, because it can feel like, most people at church are already married off and paired up, and so it can be, there's this whole new layer of complication to the whole getting married and meeting and dating process that there didn't used to be.
Are young people as interested in going to church? And what is happening there?
I think what I can only speak from my perspective as a single woman, and I think sometimes, again, it can feel like, and this is part of the reason why I started my message 6 years ago, because it felt like there wasn't a lot of positive messaging out there for single women. I was actually having this discussion at my church small group a few nights ago about how churches don't really know what to do with their single people, especially once you graduate, the high school, middle school, even, young adults, post-college. But once you're in your 30s and beyond, it's kind of like, what do we do with these, single people? So it can almost feel like like you don't really fit in. So I think that could be playing a role in potentially keeping people out of church.
Part of your message is it's God-centered, but it's I guess I'll let you describe what your message is to women. It's not that you have to find fulfillment in a relationship.
Right.
That being single has its advantages, I guess, right?
Absolutely. And I'm definitely not, I have people ask me all the time, so are you anti-marriage? And no, I hope to be married. I respect the institution of marriage. I aspire to be married someday myself. But I do want to encourage people who are in this season of singleness, whether it's a temporary season or whether it is a lifetime situation that they find themselves in, to embrace every moment of that process and to love their lives and to realize that they don't have to wait around on a relationship to live their lives. They can get out there and follow their dreams and travel and live big exciting lives, whether they're married or whether they're single.
And is that not the message often that is sent?
No, I don't feel like that's the message that's sent at all. I feel like in this day and age, I actually wrote a blog about this a week or so ago about how TV and sort of pop culture inaccurately portrays singleness. I feel like it's either viewed as this sort of sad, lonely, pathetic existence, or you have it the other end of the spectrum, which is completely over glamorized, and you're always out at these wild, fabulous parties, and you're wearing these fashionable designers, and and that's not realistic either. It's somewhere in the middle.
What you have been saying has clearly caught on. There's clearly an audience, a desire for what you're saying. So I want to talk about how you got into it. I mean, you have a blog with millions of readers,
Right.
New York Times best-selling author, millions of followers on Facebook, Twitter. So how did you get started?
It actually started on the flip side of the end of a really bad relationship that I found myself in. It was 6 years ago this month. I was newly single and, feeling really, really strong and happy and confident in my singleness, and sort of looking around for other people who were sort of walking this single path in a positive way, and I just didn't really see a lot of it out there, you know, in the bookstores or on TV, or just didn't see a reflection of what I felt like singleness was about. So I decided, well, if I can't find it, I'm going to become it. And so I started just writing about my own life and my own experiences, and sharing what I thought would be encouraging words for other single people. And it really all grew from there, and now here we are.
So you started writing on a blog?
I did. I started a blog, and then about a year later, it turned into my own website, thesinglewoman.net. And then the progression from there was my publisher actually found me on Twitter, and changed my entire life. I was working full-time public relations, and about 3 years into writing the blog and tweeting and Facebooking and all these things, I was able to leave that full-time job and do writing full-time, and here we are 3 books later.
3 books later, and you have a new book coming out. What's it called? Beautiful Uncertainty.
Yeah, it's actually out already.
Okay.
Yeah, it came out in February, and yeah, I'm really excited about it.
What's the essence of that, Beautiful Uncertainty?
I wanted to write something for people who are waiting, whether it's obviously in my situation, it is about singleness. You know, single life, you're waiting. It feels like you're always waiting for something, waiting for love or marriage, or to find the one or whatever it may be. But I feel like everyone in life is waiting for something, not just single people. Whether you're waiting for a diploma or a promotion or your dream job or children or whatever you may be waiting for, I wanted to encourage people to sort of embrace that in-between time between where they were and where they're going, or the beautiful uncertainty.
And it's interesting to me, so you are not down on the institution of marriage.
No, not at all.
But you think there might need to be an adjustment in the way people think in this season of singleness.
I do. Yeah, I think that as much as I want to be married someday, it's not the be-all and end-all. It's not the cure-all, and I'm sure all married people can attest to that. I do feel like if you haven't found that happiness and that contentment within yourself before you enter into a relationship isn't going to be the magical fix to that. And so my message is all about encouraging women to find themselves, to be strong and confident in who they are, and then to invite someone into that with them.
And we've heard the institution, I mean, there's some who have said marriage will not be as prominent 10, 20 years from now as it is now, and we see it maybe even less prominent now than it was 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, where do you think we're headed? What do you see in 20 years?
I personally, and maybe I'm naive and really idealistic, but I would like to see a return to those types of traditions. I would like to see a return to chivalry. I would like to see a return to old-fashioned dating, and kind of get back to that one-on-one and that communicating, and all these the technology, as ironic as that is, since my entire life and career changed on social media, I do feel like sometimes it can actually be an impediment to actual authentic connection and communication. So I don't know if that's where we're headed, but I hope it's where we're headed, because I think the institution of marriage will always be sacred, and it will definitely always be sacred to me whether or not I end up married or not. And so I do believe that I don't think marriage is going anywhere, basically.
It does seem like in this world where we're more connected than ever, we're more isolated.
Yeah.
People are more alone.
That's very true, and I think that's a reason why a lot of women connected so strongly with my message, because there are a lot of women who, as you get older, it's harder to make friends even. It's harder to make those connections with people that you had maybe in your high school, college, post-college years of life. So I think that women, really connected with the single woman message, because they felt like, hey, I'm not alone in this. There's someone else. There's all these other women who are going through the same exact experience that I'm going through.
So when it comes to social media, when it comes to Twitter and texting and Facebook, and then you put that into dating. Okay, again, I know nothing about this. This is all new, and I bet a lot of our viewers know nothing about this, but maybe they have a child or a grandkid that is trying to navigate this world. So for people who would maybe give advice or just to help us understand, how tough is that? I mean, now is that the way you ask somebody out? You text them, and is that appropriate? And just kind of, how do you navigate this world that is so different from what it used to be?
Right. I'm still actually learning to navigate it myself, and I've never ventured onto online dating or tried anything like that, but I'm potentially, I know my parents would be very excited to see me give it a go, and you know, they're ready to marry me off, I think. But I think as long as you just stay true to yourself and your values, no matter what, whether it's texting or you decide to try online dating or you meet someone. Some people meet via social media. I know couples who literally connected on Twitter and ended up getting married. I think as long as you stay true to yourself, you really can't go wrong.
All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back, continue the discussion. 2 other books that you wrote, we can talk about those. Very interesting discussion. All right, we'll take a break, be back right after this.